Paranana onnamaiti. Tamasha Sutrani. Ayun, Ruk, Ayong, Ayauch, Hayavarat, Lan, Nyamangananam, Javang, Garadash, Jaba Garadash, Kapa Chacha Chacha Chatav, Kapai, Shashasar, Hal, Iti Mahasha Sutrani. So I think we are on the last couple of the homework, and then we can go on to the next lesson. Just give me 1 second. Just get my book ready. I think, so Manoj, the recording is okay?
Yes, Satishji, it is okay.
Okay. Let me just get my book ready. Okay, let's see what we have. Let me put up the page. Last one is that fools alone think that they will never fall into adversity. Fools alone think that they will never fall into adversity. So that is the iti. And then, so there are two separate sentences. So they will never fall into adversity. That is a separate sentence. Then we'll put the iti and then say fools alone think. So the first part will be, let's see, somebody wants to volunteer for this? There's some participation going. Let's see what Karthik has to say. Karthik, you want to try this one?
Yeah, I can try that.
Okay, let me see. Let me get the document down here. Karthik, give me 1 second. Put it down. Today is, let us see. Okay, so today is June 16. Okay, go for it. Let's try it.
What do we say for adversity?
Let's say apat or sankatam, sankate athva apadi.
Sankate. Can you show me the sentence once?
Yeah, sure. Give me 1 second. It'll be, here it is. Fools alone think that they will never fall into adversity.
Sankate na patishyamah iti mudhaha sada chintayanti.
Not sada. You want fools alone. Sada means ever, always.
Ever.
Always. So if we want fools alone think. So what you would like to use?
Eva. Mudhaha eva chintayanti.
Mudhaha atva mudhaha eva chintayanti.
Eva chintayanti.
Atva manyante.
Manyante.
Let me just put it in the document. Let's see if everybody agrees with that. So we can put apadi also. Apad is a good word. It's an adversity. So apadi.
I think we can also say kadapi because it says never fall.
Yeah, never. Yeah, we need that. You're right. You're right. You're right. Need that. So let me. Trying to get rid of this underline thing. 1 second. Try this. Okay. Let me see. So if we can put that on top. Kadapi. Kada. Well, I want to do the sandhis. I think sandhis we can do now. Kadapi. Let me remove that. So apadi. Apadi. Napatishyamaha. Napatishyama also dhatu pad. They said dhatu, nothing really special. Idagamaha. And adeshapattayoho. Murdhanya shakara adeshaha. So vishesha karyam nasti. Kadapi na kadab. Yeah. Kadapi apadi na patishyamaha. Or we can even make it a little bit clearer. Tishyamaha. Iti. Mudhaha. So you want to quickly tell us the steps for Mudha, Karthik?
Mood, it will be Moodha and Jas, and
You put
Jakara will
that
go
is
by
that.
Chutu.
Yeah, that's fine. But I want to get the move plus ta.
Oh, uh, the, no, I'm not sure how it becomes. Dha.
Okay, manyante. Okay, I'll help you along. So let's say move plus ta we have. Now this is first of all it's a anid dhatu. If you look at the gana in the hanteshu list, if you look at the hanteshu list under 7 to 10, you'll see the duha diha daha diha duha naha miha ruha. Actually muh is not there. Okay, then we have to first find out how come you didn't take the ida agamaha. I think there is a vikalpa for this. Let's take a look. So dhatu muh is actually not in the list of the anid dhatus under 7 to 10. So we have to look at, as I said to you, there is the section on nishtha is a long section where the idagama nisheda is being done. So you see, the first thing we first want to check is the ekach upadesha anudatta 7 to 10. Under that, I'm not seeing dhatu muh is not listed there. I have mish and then ruh. So muh is not listed there. But then between 7 to 14 and 34, there are very specific rules for dhatus when the nishtha pratyaya follows. So there might be something where they might be listed somewhere there. So now the quick way to find the answer to this is that we can scan this list, or what we can do is that we can also look at the dhatu vritti or the another place to look at. Let's use that. Is in the third volume of Vaimi. There's a very nice list of all these minus the common krut pratyas and krudanta forms, and the list of nishtha is actually on page the kta pratyaya is on page 101. So and there he's given a very nice table. So a quick reference for you. You can find the answers to these questions. So let's see under that what he says. Muh, mugdha, and mudha. So he says that this vadruha muha is a sutram. Okay. He says radaditvat. All right. So what is happening here is that this is actually a ved dhatu, and then yasya vibhasha gets the in nishedha. So this I'm on page 109 of volume 3 of Bahimi Vyakhya, and this is what he said. I'll read out to you. This is footnote 8. Valadehe adadhatukasya radaditvena id vikalpanat nishtayam yasya vibhasha iti in nishedha. So 7 to 15. So what is the meaning there? Radadi dhatus, they are ved dhatus. So 7 to 7 to 45, radadibhyascha, is radadi dhatus. They are ved dhatu because the va is coming on the from prior sutram. Is id, so id va bhavati. And then so 7 to 45, radadi gana, the muh dhatu is listed there. So let's go to our Ashtadhyayi to go to 7 to 45. This is all you should practice all these rules. Of course, in the class we can only do so many because of time. But you should try to practice some of these. The question is, we got the form mudha. How do we get the form mudha? So there must be something stopping the idagamaha, because it is not in the list. It is not a anudatta dhatu in upadesha. So that is, we have to then find something. And this 7 to 15 yasya vibhasha is a very important rule in nishtha, because if a dhatu has vibhasha it anywhere, in nishtha it becomes anid dhatu. It doesn't allow idagama. That is 7 to 15. Now, of course, to apply 7 to 15, you need to first find out where is the dhatu having id vikalpa. Then only we can use. So radadibhyascha 7 to 45 says that. See, the good thing about this is we already know the answer. Idagama is not there. So then we can look about, and we have to find something. There is no other way out. So it says, so radadibhyascha says, Akashika, radahimsa samsiddhyoho ityevam adibhya ashtabhya, 8 dhatus from Radha, etc. Uttarasya Valader adhadhatukasya va it bhavati. So it becomes like radha, nasha, trapa, drupa, and then I think trupa, drupa, and then I think druha is there, and moha. See, dhatu moh is here. So we have, so moha is in the list of radhadi dhatus. Comes moha, moha, modha, mohita. Okay, so and this is the example given in Kashika for the tas pratyaya. I mean the for the lut lakar is what he's giving. Satasi lurutoho. So mogdha, modha, mohita. Okay, so by 7 to 45 and then 7 to 15 yes vibhasha, we got the in nisheda. Kartik, you following that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's start with that. Always the first step is think about when you have a valadi pratyaya, which is a pratyaya adhadhatuka pratyaya. Always think about the id vyavastha. First thing to ask, and the first thing you want to go to under 7 to 10, check the karikas. If you find the answer, well and good. If you don't find it, then you have to search further. And for Nishra, there are 20 rules, 21 rules rather, from 7 to 14 to 7 to 34. One of the very important ones there is Yasya Vibhasha, 7 to 15. That's the one which helped us out over here. Okay, what's the other question? Yes, Vasu.
Satish ji, just want the buy me page number reference for me.
Yes, it is on page 109 of volume 3. It's footnote 8.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me put that in document. So let's derive this one. Let's see, we started with, start with muh plus ta, and the sutra is nishtha, by which you bring the ta pratyaya, and anubandha lope lashak kutadite, only the ta is left behind, and then we use this sutram 7 to 45, along with 7 to 15. So 7 to 45, along with 7 to 15, there will be in nishedha. So 7 to 45, 7 to 15 stops iragava. Okay, now Karthik, you want to try the next step for us? In fact,
I think next would be ho daha.
Yeah, ho daha would have been this. But there is a, under ho daha, there is a special sutram which lists certain dhatus, which take the gha optional instead of dha they just. So let's look at hodha. What number is hodha? It's 8 to 31. And then comes dader dhatur khaha. If you have a dhatu beginning with a dakara, and then then the hakara of that dhatu, like dukh becomes dugdha. So then that hakara, instead of becoming hodha, it becomes a hakara adesha. But we don't have that. We have dhatu muh. So the next sutram says va, druha muha shnuha shniham. So for these dhatus, druh, muh, shnuh, and shnih, for these 4 dhatus, you get the hakara adesha optionally. There will be 2 forms. So you'll get mugh and mud. So let's do these 2 forms separately. So that one was the 8 to 33. So 8 to 33. We get let's do like this. Let's do muh. Let's do mugh plus ta, and otherwise we're going to get the mud hodha. So mud plus ta. Okay. Now the first one is the easy one. If you have an offer us the mugh plus ta.
It will be jhashas tathor dhodha.
In fact, we can do that step for both of these.
Both.
So we can do both of these. So here I'm going to put down 8 to 33, which is the vadruham ityadi, 8 to 33. Again, I want to appreciate the Tripadi order, please, in that we can only go forward, generally not look back. So we apply 8 to 33, and then we are going to go to 8 to 40, as Karthik is saying, jashas tathor dhodha. So jash means we have a chaturtha varna preceding, and then following that the takara becomes dhakara, but not for the dhatu dha. So in both these cases, what is happening is that you have the number, column number 4, this gha and this dha are column number 4 letters in the 5 by 5 matrix. So that falling takara will become the dhakara. Okay, so let's do 8240. So what we have now is we're going to get the mug plus dha, or we're going to have mud plus dha. Okay, now Karthik, now the first one, what will you do?
Jhalam jash jhashi.
Jalam jashi. So let me put the number
Mugdha.
here. Mugdha. So that is a now in usage, I must admit, this mugdha and mudha have different kind of little bit connotations, So that's a little bit, they're both, these participles are used because they take a rudi artha. Rudi artha means they take a colloquial meaning. Because mugdha and mudha doesn't exactly mean the same really. Mudha generally means like really foolish. Mugdha means like astonished, stunned, bewildered, surprised, maybe like wonderstruck. So mugdha doesn't have all the negative connotations as mudha really. Little bit. Mudha is a stronger word. So I don't think mugdha will work really in our sentence. Let's see what was the question. Yes, Vasu?
Satiji, what is the difference then on murkha?
There's no other meaning for that.
The root is different, is it?
It'll be different root. We'll look up murkha. But let's finish this one first. I'll look up murkha for you. But that's from a different root, not from this one. So now, okay. So let's the first one, Abhi says, is as we already got the final form, and the final form there is mugdha. All we need to do now is the chalam jashi. So we'll go to the number 3 letter, because if number 3 or 4 letter follows, which is the tha, then the prior jal goes to number 3 letter. So we get the form mugdha. Okay. Or what about this one, Karthik? So 8253.
The other one will be stunashtuhu. So we'll get mud plus dha.
Correct. So stunashtuhu, and then
it will be dhodhe lopaha.
Dhodhe lopaha. So we get mud plus dha, and that was the as Karthik said, we get 8441. I'm sorry. 8441 is stunashtuhu, and then after that
Dhalope purva dirghanaha.
So that is 63111. So now how are we coming back here, Karthik? What is the reason why coming back?
Because if we don't come back, then that particular sutra has no use. The purva se dirghanaha will not have any use, so we'll have to go.
Same thing with dhodhe lopaha. So neither dhodhe lopaha nor the dhalope purva se dirghanaha will really have any application unless you allow them to see these. So 8313 has to be allowed to see 8441, and then the 63111, which in the Sapada Saptadhyayi section, has to be allowed to see the 831314. That's the only way, because dhalope. So that dhalopa only comes in the Tripadi section. So this is Vachana Samrathyat. We have to allow them to see that. So okay. So then let's finish this off now. So we got the dhodhe lopaha. So that mu, then actually the prior dha goes off. So mu dha, and then this is the 8313, sorry. And then finally we get the mudha. So interesting steps of practice. That's why I wanted to practice this one, because it will give you some good grammar to practice. You get some practice with the purvatara siddham. Get some practice with the in nishedha that we saw, yasya vibhasha. A lot of good things. So mugdha and mudha. Okay, let's finish what Vasu was asking. Let's see the word murkha. Let's see what is the etymology of that one. So first thing, I'm looking at Apte's dictionary, and let's see what he says about. That's one of the first stops that we should go to, and see if what etymology he's giving for murkha. Okay, no etymology here. That probably means it's okay. The next step what we can do is that let's look at the Amar Kosha. See what I just want to see. What steps I go through to find etymology of a word. So Apte is not giving any etymology. He's just saying adjective is what he's saying. So it may not be very straightforward, but let's see. Let's dig deeper. Let's see what we can find. So Murkha. Let's see. I'm looking at because Amarkosha generally should have this word. All these common words generally Amarkosha has. So Murkha, okay. On this, it's on page 365 of the Nirnay Sagar edition, 365, column 48. Let's see what he gives. Okay, Murkha, let's see. It's Unadi Sutram, Mujyati iti. It's Unadi Sutram, I think, Mujyati iti. Okay. It's Unadi Sutram. So Unadi is it's apparently the same dhatu muh. So I guess so Vasu was a good guess. So this is Unadi number 5.22. Muhehe kho murcha. So the this muh somehow becomes murkha by Unadi 5.22. No, I think there's also a nice Unadi Kosha book, which is published by the Ramlal Kapoor Trust. Nice small book. One thing I also want to mention to you that Kashika does not have the Unadi Sutras, but the Siddhanta Kaumudi does. And which means that even the commentary on Siddhanta Kaumudi will have the commentary on the Unadi Kosha. So the Siddhanta Kaumudi really is a complete grammar of the language, but you're supposed to find any answer on grammar. You're supposed to look up Siddhanta Kaumudi and find the answer. That is the greatness of Siddhanta Kaumudi. No other text on grammar can really give you that. Even Mahabhashyam, even this, of course Mahabhashyam is really huge, and even there might be some things which you have to add, which have changed over the years, and small interpretations have to be given decisively. See, Mahabhashyam is also a little bit vague in some places, so you don't have to, it requires, interpretation. But Siddhanta Kaumudi is one textbook. You should always, I mentioned that should be your goal, Eventually you should be able to hold Siddhanta Kaumudi in your hand and say, okay, I can go to page number X and find the answer for any grammar question. For any grammar question I can go and find the answer to that. So this one also you can find the answer. This 5.20 mujyati iti bhati murkhaha. So that is and it gives the svidhatu muh, and it makes the kha, and then also makes it murkha. So it just basically it's an outright derivation. So it's the mu becomes mur, and then the ha becomes ka, becomes murkha. So okay. So that's 5. It's Unadi Sutram 5.22. Okay, so let's see. Did we get our sentence now? Kadapi apadi napatishyamaha iti mudhaha eva manyante. Okay. The last one. Karthik, you want to finish it off for us? What will you eat?
What will you eat? Tvam kim khadishyasi. Kim khadishyasi.
Kim khadishyati. Kim khadishyati. Or if you want to use the bhaksh, what do you say?
Bhakshayishyasi.
Bhakshayishyasi, correct. Kim khadishyasi atva bhakshayishyasi. Kim khadishyasi atva bhakshayishyasi. Let's do that. So khad dhatu khad is, and kim, this is samanya napumsakam. If you want to see what in general, without knowing the gender of that thing, then you can use samanya, and samanya is napumsakam. So like in English, same thing. You say what, you don't say whom. So khadishyasi, atva. Now bhaksh dhatu is from the churadigana, so we'll have to make it bhaksha yishyasi. Quickly the steps for us, Karthik, here. Dhatu bhaksh. What will you get?
Bhaksh plus, first I think we'll have to add nich.
Nich, yes.
And so it will be...
Nich. Bhaksh cannot be used until none of the churaji dhatus cannot be used until the swate nich is added there. Okay. We get, what will you get?
We'll get bhakshi.
Bhakshi.
And
so that's when you have about sutram.
That's by Sanadyantah dhatavah.
Sanadhyanta dhatavah. So that is 3132. And then bhakshi plus get the rit, lasya, then we get sip, then syatasti lutoho. So bhakshi, sya, si, and then
we'll get the idagama.
Idagama, because anekash dhatu. So bhakshi, ishyasi, and then
we'll get the guna by sarvadhatuka ardhadhatukayoho.
7384. So bhakshe ishyasi.
Bhakshe. And then echo yavaha.
Bhakshe ishyasi. I'm not putting in the document because it's all no straightforward rules. Nothing really special, just like any other 10 gana dhatu. Bhakshe ishyasi. Okay, so that is the first sentence. And then after that, he says that there is not much. Okay, how would you like to translate that?
There is not.
There's not much, but all there is yours. Okay, there is not much. How would I translate that?
Not much.
Well, there's not a lot. How about that? To try to make it easier for you. There's not a lot.
I don't know what for much. Meaning for lot.
Bahu. The bahu atva adhikam. Adhikam is in. There's not.
Adhikam nasti.
Adhikam nasti. Bahu nasti.
Bahu nasti. Can we use bahu as it is, like it's a avyaya?
It's no. It is an adjective. So bahu will go in all three genders. It will become bhavi in feminine also optionally. So then, since we are doing samanya napumsakam, we'll keep it like madhu shabda. So only samo napumsakat. So it'll be, it'll remain as bahu only. Bahu is a declined form, neuter, nominative, singular. Because we are qualifying, that sama anye, napumsakam. There is not to eat. Or you can say annam, if you really want to supply. So bahu nasti is fine, bahu annam nasti, that also is fine. So but okay, and then, but all there is yours. Now that should be easy for you. You want to try that?
Kintu,
all there is yours.
All there is. Kimapi asti?
I think yat kinchid asti.
Yat kinchid asti sarvam bhavatah.
Sarvam tava. No, tava, because not bhavatah. Because you use the middle person everywhere now.
Middle person. Okay, tava.
So bahuna vartate. So let's finish this off now. Bahuna vartate. Yat kinchit, whatever I'm saying, or yat kinchit. Yat kinchit tvasti. Tat sarvam tava. So let's see how this looks. All right. So kim khadishyasi atva kim bhakshishyasi bahuna vartate yat kinchit tu asti tat sarvam tava. So whatever is there, that is all yours. There is not a lot, but whatever is there is all yours. Yat kinchit tu asti tat sarvam tava. Okay, any objections? Akshepaha, Suchanaha. Okay, Anuji has a question. Yes, sir.
Satishji,
yes,
Jalan Jashi is 8453.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes, 8453, Anuji, absolutely correct. There's a typo, please correct. Yeah, please mention my typos, so I can correct them. Thank you, 8453 is correct. Yeah. Okay, anyway, yeah, 8453 is correct. Vasu, yes, Vasu.
Satishji, bahu is short, or who is the hraswa or dirgha?
It's rasva. It's the bahu is an adjective. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate.
Bahunam is dirgham, right? But
that
here
is because of the nami dirgha. Because of nami, like guru becomes guru nam.
Yeah.
So bahunam is become dirgha because of nami, not because of pradipati. Pradipati guruvat, if it's qualifying masculine. Okay, quickly. Okay, this chance for Gita for us. One more place, bahu in Gita. I got one already. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva swaramiti samahatma sudurlabha. Kamaistai. First of all, what adhyaya is that? Bahunam janmanamante. Jnanavan mam prapadyate. Vasudevassaramiti. Mahatma Sudurlabha. Anybody? Which adhyaya is that? Ushaji. I'm always hoping Ushaji has that. Yes, Ushaji?
7th Adhyaya.
Chapter 7. Very good. You want to try one more for me? Can you give me another one? Bahu usage in Gita? Chapter 4. Chapter 4, I think, shloka number 5 maybe. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavachajuna. Tanyaham veda sarvani nattam vetta parantapo. So Bahu, another Visha Bahu in Gita. So let's go to this one. So one is in the masculine. In fact, that tells you an adjective, you know. That because in Gita itself you have Bahunam Janmanamante. Actually, I'm sorry, Janman is also a neutral Pradipadikam. So it won't tell you because it's qualifying Janmanam. Bahunam Janmanamante is qualifying, so that will not help you. And then Bahune me Vatitani Janmani Tavachajuna. It's both qualifying Janma only, so it will not tell you. But it is an adjective. So one is this one, let's see, chapter 7. I think Ushaji is correct. But let me see. Somewhere down here, Devi here, Shah Gunamayi, Mamamaya, Namadashutino, Mudha, Sudhavajante Mam. It's coming, I think, next shloka, the one after that, I think. Tesham Nyani Vityayuktaha, Bahunam Janmanamante, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. Here it is. Bahunam Janmanamante, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate, Vasudeva Saramiti Samahatma. So this is number 19. Tangaviliju has a question also. Yes. It's number 19, 719. Yes, Tangaji.
Satyji,
Yes.
there is another one, Bahuni, chapter 11, verse number 6.
Okay, good. What's the shloka?
Pashyadityadi.
Pashyadityan vasun rudran ashvina munathasthatha bahuni dushta purvani pasyascharyani bharata. Tutor form, but thank you. Yes, yes. Bahuni also coming here. Bahuni dushta purvani. Bahuni adrishta purvani pasyascharyani bharata. Arjuna, look at all these great, many of these wonders which have not been seen before. Yes, thank you. So we got 719. Then we also got the, so it's a common word. So, Bahavaha prayogaha drishyante bahu shabdasya gitasu. So 7.19, then we got 11.6, and I think it's 4.5. Let me just double check. I think it's 4.5 or 6, 4.5 I think. That is the Bahuni me vatitani janmani tavachajana. Tanyam, yes, 4.5. Okay, so Gita, I just put in the Gita. So there might be more also. I'm not, it's an adjective, so let me put Gita is 4.5, then we got 7.19, and thanks to Thangaviliji, we also got 11.6, yeah. So that's an adjective, Vasu. So that you can go all through genders. So this is declined like Madhu in our case. So Bahu in our case is neutral, nominative, singular. Okay, let us, I think that ends this chapter. I hope everything is okay. Again, any typos, anything wrong, please always email or post it something. Any questions you have, we can always post the group, because I think when people post, people have, you know, a lot of responses come. So that's good. Thank you, Karthik. Okay, let's go to the next lesson. This lesson, first thing is starting about the passive, the future, in the passive use of the future. Now, I want to remind you is that the very important sutra which we used in the passive is the sarvadhatuke yak. Let's look at that first, and let's see why it does not apply here. In fact, the sutra itself tells you why it does not apply here. Sarvadhatuke yak. For example, you know, if you say bhavati, if you want to make the passive become anubhuyate, so that ya comes in between. So becomes patati, becomes pathyate. So, so karayati becomes karyate. Karyate yavashah karma, sarva prakrijair gunaihi. Karmendriya, in Gita, third adhyaya. So it's a very, very common pratyaya, yak pratyaya actually I should say, which is comes bhava karmanoho, but only comes sarvadhatuke. What we have is going to pratyaya sya is going to be coming, sya, or the pratyaya tas. And because of things which is sarvadhatukam, ardhadhatukam, sheshaha, these are not going to be pratyaya which is sarvadhatuka. So we will not be able to use that 3167 sarvadhatuke yak. So you must be wondering, so that creates a problem, because then that means that the forms in the, so that's one point. The sarvadhatike yak will, as a sutra, it says bhava anusya bhava karmano is coming down. That will only apply on the pratyaya sarvadhatu. As sutra clearly says that. So doesn't mean that all passive form you see the pratyaya yak. But there's one more sutram which we can rely on to give us the hint that a form is passive, and that one is the, again, sutram called bhava karmanoho in 1.3, and Panini does the padavyavastha. He says that in the bhava and karma means the impersonal passive or the passive, you have to use atmanipadi and atmanipadam endings, affixes. That rule is almost inviolable. Well, in Bhagavatam, 1-2 places is also violated. But anyway, for the purpose of this class, 99.9%, that rule is not violated. Nowhere in the Gita is the rule violated. So bhava karmanoho. So only if you don't have an atmanipadi form, you can almost definitely say this is not a passive form. So that is your biggest starting point for deciding any passive form is do you see atmanipadi endings or not? Otherwise, forget about it. You don't have to think about it. It's not a passive form. So that's point to us. But of course, some dhatus are also atmanipadi dhatus in kartri artha also, like labhate and labhyate. Now, if you say the form lapsyate, now what is that now? Is that passive or active? We don't know for sure until you know the context. So lapsyate could be he, she, it shall find, or he, she, it shall be found. So now you don't know whether lapsyate is an active form or a passive form, because it's atmanipadi dhatu, and so that is fine. So it is not clear what. So the only context will tell you now. Then you have to see who's become abhita in the shloka, in the context. So in a vacuum, you will not be able to tell whether lapsyate is active or passive. But when you say bhavati or anubhuyate, you can tell 100% that bhavati is active, anubhuyate is passive. So barring these, when you pratyaya following is not sarvadhataka, which means what? Which means in other lakaras except the lat, lot, lung and vidiling, barring these 4 lakaras, the remaining 6 lakaras, as a general rule, besides the ending being atmanipadam, there is no clear sign. As a general rule, okay, there are some special, we can see one today. We're going to see one rule today. But I'm just giving you background, background of why we need that rule, and So as a general situation, there is no real way to tell besides the ending being atmanipadi. And the problem is that, in literature, this padavyavastha na adriyate sarvatra. It's not honored in literature. So unfortunately, even though the dhatu might be parasmapadi in the dhatu patha, and you might see atmanipadi ending, that still does not give 100% guarantee this may be a passive form, because it could be, like if you take Devi Mahatmyam, even Gita in some places, they use the endings interchangeably. So the atmanipadi, is not honored. I think what Panini in dhatu patha is just like a, it's like a prayana parichyate. So it's used for the most part. So that also is not an airtight thing, So there's really unfortunately no way to make sure. Now, for example, I'll give a quick example in Bhagavad Gita is the chapter 9, I think first sutram, first shloka, it says that idam tute guyyatamam pravakshyamyana suyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajñatva mokshase shubhat. That's a passive form of the future tense, which is what we're looking at right now. So it is yajñatva mokshase shubhat. This mokshase is a passive form, because having known which, you will be released from all evil, from evil. So this moksha says it's not that you will release, but you will be released. So, so this is now, how do we know that this is going to be a passive form or not? There is no real 100% guarantee. Because if the dhatu much is a purasabhi dhatu, in that case, of course, we got a big hint that atmanipadi ending is going to, in fact, is going to give you the first starting point that start suspecting start suspecting a passive form. And if I'm looking at dhatu much, and actually it also has sixth gana is ubhayapadi dhatu. There you go. So much is ubhayapadi dhatu. So munchati munchate. So now there itself we are stuck. But then how do we know this is a passive form? We don't know. But then look at the other things in the shloka. If it were an active form, tam moksha, you will release. You will release what? I mean, the meaning is the overriding consideration here. That clearly the meaning is that you will be free from evil. You will be released from evil. So this is going to be. But the point I'm trying to make is that grammatically, if you look at the word moksha, say in a vacuum, you do not know active or passive. Okay. Now, having said all of that, because why is that the pratyaya here is not a sarvadhatuka pratyaya, and so it will not bring the sarvadhatuke yak. Only thing you have is the bhava karmanoho iti atmanipadam, but dhatu is ubhayapadi, so you cannot know is active or passive. But there are some special situations where the passive can take some special forms. We're going to see one of them today. Okay. So now let's read what he has given now. Is the future passive is identical with the future atmanipada. That's what he's saying. Is that the passive, the only thing is that the atmanipadam ending has to be used, and that is number 1, 3, 13. Bhava karmanoho iti atmanipadam. Okay. And then this jeshyati dhatu ji is anit dhatu, because in the ajanta dhatu only udru, dantaihi and some others is not in that list. Anit dhatu, so you only get the guna, sarvadhatu karmakayoho guna, and then of course the adesha pratyayoho shatvam. Shatvam, so jeshyati he will conquer, jeshyate he will be conquered. Now comes the special rule 6.4.62. Let me tell you right up front, this rule I have yet to see really a usage of this rule. It's a nice rule. It looks to be an important rule. Unfortunately, in Gita, it has no application, to the best of my knowledge. And even in other texts, I have to scratch my head a lot to find a example of this rule. We'll go through this rule. It has potentially, a lot of application, but its actual usage in the language is quite rare. Okay, it's quite rare. So if you can just remember there's some rule like this, that's good enough. I would not recommend. If I have to give it like a star rating, I don't mean to to discourage you, but actually I have to honestly tell you that it will be at the most a 2-star rule at the most. If you get a 5-star rating, it will be definitely less than 3 stars. So with that background, just get some general hints that something like this exists. So if you see a strange passive form with certain pratyayas, then you can think that maybe this rule 6.4.62 might apply. So let's dig into 6.4.62. It's a very interesting rule. Let's just go to the Kashika directly. So let's try to see what this sutram says. So 6.4.62. First of all, we are in the Angasya Adhikara, which is from 6.4.1 to end of 7.4. Not only that, we are in the Adhikara of the Ardha Dhatuke. Ardha Dhatuke, I think, starts from 6.4.46, starts Ardha Dhatuke. So we have these pratyas which are going to be following are going to be Ardha Dhatuka pratyas, and then we are going to talk about the Anga Karya. So always try to look at the territory which you are in. Always appreciate the Ashtadhyayi order as much as you can. Okay, that's the big danger of doing Siddhanta Kaumudi is that you lose the Ashtadhyayi order. I keep repeating that because it's a big pitfall. You should not try to get in that pitfall. So let's see what it says now. So let's go. Just open it up. Sya sich siyuttasishu. So when one of these pratyaya follows, which is what sya, which is of course the future marker, syatasi luratoho, sich. The sich comes in the lung lakara. Sri lungichile sich. That's going to be the last lesson of this book. We have not learned sich as yet. Then siyut. Siyut is linga siyut. Siyut is an agamaha, which comes in the vidhiling and the ashiling. But when the vidhiling comes, you'll get the in the vidhiling, the ashiling pratyaya will be ardhadhatuka pratyaya. Otherwise, if you get the pratyaya sarvadhatuka, then you will not get the because of thing is sarvadhatukam, ardhadhatukam sheshaha. So what happens is that when the Vidiling pratyaya comes in there, that's pratyaya sarvadhatuka pratyaya. So we'll not get this will not apply to that. So even though it says siyut, it really means in the ashi ling, which we have not learned yet. So we have not learned the sich and siyut as yet. Then will come because when the Vidiling comes pratyaya sarvadhatuka, then we'll get the sarvadhatike yak and all that will come. So you will not, the siyut will not be directly following the yakam. So sya, sich, siyut, tasishu, bhava karmanoho. Tas, of course, we have learned. So that tas is in the lut lakaraha. So bhava karmanoho, in the passive only, bhava karmanoho. Upadeshe aj, hana, graha, drisham, vachin vad, itcha. Okay, slow down. In upadesha, if you have an aj, okay, here comes the first complication. The first complication is that it doesn't mean dhatu has to be ajanta in upadesha. You have to have an ach in upadesha, and dhatu has to end in that ach. Now why we take in roundabout way like that? The reason for that is that even the nijjanta should be included in that. If you say upadesha ajanta dhatu, then you will not be able to include the nijjanta dhatus in that, because the nijantas are derived dhatus. They are not ajantas in upadeshe. Take a dhatu like pat. Dhatu pat is for first kind of patati. If we make it quasi, it will become parthi. Now parthi is not ajanta in upadeshe. But if you take it as upadeshe yo aj, tadantam, tadanto dhatu. So if you take, because nich is an upadeshe, it is an ach. So if you count it like that, then even the nijantas will be included in the upadeshe. But right now, for our purpose right now in Antoine, he has not given any examples of the nijanta dhatus. So what I'm talking about right now doesn't really mean that much to us. But the way that the Bhashyam has described this is that this doesn't mean it has to be ajanta in upadeshe. There has to be an ach in upadeshe, and dhatu should end in that ach. So it could be a dhatu ending in ach in upadeshe directly, or it could be the nish pratyaya, which is an ach, which is in upadeshe. The dhatu ends in that ach. So that's slight complication there. Then, so that is one. So all these dhatus ending in ach, either directly in dhatu patha or through the niche. And then he gives 1, 2, 3 dhatus. Hana, graha, drisham. Hana, graha, drisham. Notice the sandhi there, by the way. Upadesha ajjana. Ajjan dhatu is hana. So what is the jayoho anyatarasyam sandhi has happened here. Jayoho anyatarasyam, that's I think 8462 has been applied in this sutram, because it's aj plus hana, from ajjana. So ajjana. So first you get the jalam yashonte, and then you get the 8462 jayoho anyatarasyam. So aj plus han has become ajjana. Ajjana. So 8462 I think is the number. Jayoho anyatarasyam. So yeah, jayoho anyatarasyam. Just to break the sandhi in the sutram itself. So first thing we have to do is the jalam yashonte. So ach becomes aj. And then after that you do because this is a compound. In compound each of the items has other status. So 8239, we put in the document maybe. The sutra number is 6462, which we are looking at right now. So 6462. And we have used, so in order to get ach plus han, we got, that gave us aj. Let's see. It gave aj, ajjana. Okay. Because when it becomes the hakara becomes savarna with the prior letter. So because cha, ja, nya, and because the hakara is a soft consonant, it is in the hash pratyahara, and it is also a mahaprana. So it's going to become the number 4, jan. So ajjana. So ajjana. So just the sandhi in the sutram itself, the 846462. Let's go back to that. So aj, hana, we already talked about ajantas, we talked about that. Then hana, graha, drisham, I'm sorry. So these three dhatus. Han is the second gana, becomes hanti. Grah is grashnati, is ninth gana. And drish is become pashyati, is first gana dhatu. But va chinvad. So chinvad bhava. Now what is this chinvad? Where is this chin coming from? Okay, we have not learned chin at all as yet. But chin pratyaha also comes in the lung lakara only. In lung lakara. And I just give you a sutra number for that because we have not learned the chin chin bhava karmano, I think 3166. So all these just give general area of the pratyaya which come in lung lakara, and in that we have the pratyaya sich, which we also have in the sutram. We also have the pratyaya chin we have in the sutram. They both come in this section which starts with let's see, Sri Lungi Chile sich from this 3143. So sich pratyaya comes in 3144, and then comes the chin pratyaha will come in the this chin bhava karmanoho and chin te padaha. So 6160 and 6166, but they're all coming in this lung lakara, which we have not learned so far. So we have not learned what chin. We don't need to know exactly what chin is right now. What we need to know is that whatever angakaram the chin would do, the same angakaram is done by these pratyayas, the sya, sich, siyut, and tas, in bhava karmanoho, in the passive forms, and then va, optionally. Not only that, it says itcha. When these things happen, then the idagama comes nityam. It comes concomitantly, it comes along with that. It is not these two separate. So when chinvad bhava comes, idagama comes with that. So yasmin pakshe chin pad bhava bhavati, tasmin pakshe eva idagama nityam bhavati. In that, so we'll have two cases. There's no chinvad bhava, no it agama. Idagama will take this usual course of whatever it's going to take. And here, when you have the chinvad bhava, the in will be nityam. When there's no chinvad bhava, you have to go to the usual 7.2 and figure it out what you want to do. But when there is chinvad bhava, the it will be nityam. And this it is different from the it of the, even though the agama is the same, it will be different from the it of the 7.235. So the rules of 7.2 will not apply to this id agama, which comes in 6.4. Okay, so what do you have so far? In the passive, for these four pratyas, when these four pratyas follow, after which we know only two right now, the sya and the tas. If you have a dhatu which is ending in an ach, and the ach is an upadesha, so it should be ajanta in the dhatu patha, or it should be nijanta when the e is coming from, from the sutra patha. So that is nijanta also. And also han, grah, drish, these three dhatus. They will have an optional form. With the pratyaya will take chinvad bhavaha, and then it will also take an idagama necessarily. Okay, now what is chinvad bhavaha? What kind of operations does chinvad bhava involve? So it is saying that when chin is there, what happens? The same thing happens with these people. Now what is that? In the bhashyam, you have this interesting karika, which Patanjali spells out. This interesting karika. Okay. Now let's look at this slowly. And again, I'm going too much detail right now. So take whatever you want to take. But this is interesting karika, which spells out what this chinvad bhava does. This single shloka from the Mahabhashyam, the Patanjali has written, that will give you the gist of this entire sutra. Well, let's take it step by step. Chinvad vruddhir. First thing, very easy. Chinvad vruddhi. Vruddhi means what? The 72115, 72116. Because no as an it, you get the achornyati and the atopadhaya vruddhi. Okay, so let me just put in the document these chinvad bhava operations. So operation due to chinvad bhava. Let's put that here. Operations triggered by sorry, triggered by the chinvad bhava. Let's see what the chinvad means. Whatever the chin would do, this will also do. So chinvad bhava. Okay. So basically, these pratyas act like as if they had a chin. The properties of chin. Okay. The first one we just saw, is the is what Patanjali says is vriddhi. Means sutra number 72115 and 72116. A dhatu ending in a ach, or angam ending in a ach, or in a upadha as a short a, will take vriddhi. So achurniti, and then also the atopadhayaha. Then what is the next thing that he says? Next thing that he says is the yukcha. Yukcha. Now what is that yukcha? And that sutram is ato yung chin krutoho. Ato yukcha, I think 7333. If you have an angam ending in long a, that will take a yuk agamaha. Just like when chin falls, it takes it. Similarly, take it here also. So 7333. I think we have used this sutra many times, not for chin, but we use sutra many times for the. For example, when you say when you take the form, dayakaha, the one who gives, dayakaha, one who gives. So then what happens here? The hatu is da, pratyaya following is nul, which becomes aka. Then you get the yuk agamaha, ato yuk chin krutoho. Because the sutram says if you have an adantamangam, and it's taken yuk agamaha, the pratyaya following is either chin pratyaya or any krit pratyaya which has the cha-cha-ja-ja-nya or the ta-ta-da-ta-nya as an it. So anuvritti of this niti comes down from 7.2. From 72115, this acho niti, anuvritti of niti is coming down. So we have used 7333 in this class, but not for chin. You use it for the krit pratyas, which are going to be like pratyaya like ghai. That will also give, So this pratyaya like nul will also cause this. So ato yuk chin kritoho. So that is the second operation which is triggered by chinvad bhava. If you have an angam ending in long a, take the yuk agama. So I'll put in the document 7333 yuk agamaha. So maybe I'll put it like this. So 7333 yuk agamaha. So yuk agamaha. Okay. Agamaha. And this first one was vriddhi. Okay. So vriddhi. All right, so then what's the next statement that he makes? The next statement that he makes is that, so we got so far, chinvad vriddhi, yukcha, then hantescha gatvam. Hantescha gatvam. For dhatu han, you get gatvam, you get the ghakara adesha. Now what he's talking about here? What he's talking about here is that the ho hanter ninyeshu, Let's look at that one for a second. So also just to clarify, is that the first operation of vriddhi was coming because chin has no as an it. The second operation of the yuk agamaha was coming because sutram specifically says ato yuk chin kritoho. Specifically chin is mentioned there. This third operation, which is the ho hante jinyesho, is again coming in because the chin has no as an it. So that is 7354. We'll look at it in a second. 7354. So that is the gatvam. Is hantehe gatvam. So dhatu han. Hantehe gatvam. You get the ghakara adesha. The hakara of han becomes gha. Hante gatvam. Gatvam. Okay. So let's look at a sutram. Ho hante ninyeshu. So 7354, from 7352 starts the kavarga adesha. Ara of han, ninyeshu. We have in Gita, we have two examples in the first adhyaya itself, which I think we saw in some prior class. It says, Etan hantamichami gnatopi madhusudana. Gnatopi. So that the sutram says that 7354 says the hakara of han takes a kavarga adesha. And kavarga means what? Muduvarna mahaprana. It's going to become gakara. When does that happen? When the pratyaya following is either the chavarga panchama, nya as an it, or the tavarga panchama, na as an it. Or if the nakara follows directly. So if the hakara of han is followed by nakara directly, means the middle akara is dropped for some reason, like in Gita. Grihatopi madhusudana. In that case, all the pratyaya should have the na or nya as an it. Now right now, chinvad bhava, when we get, the chin has na as an it. So that is why that triggers 7354. 7354. The Gita example which I gave you is because in middle of the han, that was lost by 6498, and because of that, the ha came in direct contact with the na, and that's why again 8358. The 7354 applied. 7354 applies in two situations. If the pratyaya has the nya or na as an it, or there is a nakara following directly the ha. And then another example in the first adhyaya of Gita is that kulagna nam kulasyacha. Kulagna. Another place where we have this. Okay, so that's 7354. When we get chinvad bhavaha, because the chin has na as an it, for the dhatu han, which is listed in this sutram, is 6462, talks about han, graha, and drisha. So that when han is involved, that hakara of han will become gakara. Okay, so that is the third prayojanam. So we get the, okay, we already put that in here. Let's see, what does Patanjali say next? Next thing he says is that, Ukto yo mitam va chini iti. Okay, now what is he talking about here? Dirghascha ukto yo mitam va. So the mitam rasvaha is uttam. This, Antoine is not giving an example for this, okay. For this one, there's no example given by Antoine for the nijantas. So I'll tell you what this means, but we don't need it right now. But what Patanjali is saying is that under mitam rasvaha, just see what mitam rasvaha says. It's an important sutra, mitam rasvaha. It's 6492, mitam rasvaha. Now pare. So when nich follows, these dhatus which have mo as an it, they get rasvaha. So this when you do atopadhayaha vriddhi, that vriddhi is undone by mitam rasvaha. How about from the Upanishad example for you? Asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, right? Asatoma sadgamaya. Why not become gamaya? Why became gamaya? How come we didn't get the atopadaya vriddhi over there? Asatoma sadgamaya. Because mitam rasvaha. Because that gam, even dhatu gamliro. Now the one complication of mitam rasvaha is that these dhatus don't have the sakshat ma as an it. Sakshat mittam nasti. So that makes this mitam rasva is a complicated issue because of the fact that these dhatus are not really marked with ma as an it. Then how do we know that they have ma as an it? Because there is in the Bhwadi Gana, Ghata Deha Mit, there is the Gana Sutram. Dhatus beginning from Ghat, Dhatu Ghat, up to, a long list of dhatus. These are to be considered as having ma as an it. And some of them are not even Bhvadigana dhatus. They have been put in the Ghatadi list just so that we can know that these have ma as an it. So unless you memorize dhatu patha, or if you can look up the dhatu patha from dhatu ghat, there's a whole list of dhatus which to be considered as ma as an it. Not only that, even gum is not even there. Then how do we know gum has? There are some Gana Sutras there. I'm not getting too complicated for this class, but there's a Gana Sutra which says anything dhatu ending in is to be considered as ma as an it. Any dhatu ending in gum has ma as an it. So this is this is a tricky thing is in the Gana Patha, and the dhatu patha also is like a Gana Patha of dhatus. There are Gana Sutras, and these Gana Sutras often make statements how to interpret these elements of the Ganapatha, or how to bring in new elements, how to include elements in certain meanings, and all that things. So in this Ghatadeva myth, there is a Gana Sutra. which is dhatus ending in are to be considered as if they have merged in it. Dhatu like gum, sham, etc. like that. Anyway, so now how it is considered right now over here? Because the next sutram 6493 says chin namulo dirgho anyatarasyam. But if you have the chin or namul pratyaya, in that case you get the dirgha anyatarasyam. So 6, and now because you're going to get chinvad bhavaha, they will have the chin will bring in, if the pratyaya is chin, not nich, then you have got two forms. One which is a dirgha form, one which is a rasva form. So that same chinvad bhavaha is going to form, is going to come over here also. So this 76493 says chin pare namul pare cha nau parataha. Actually, I take it back. You have the nijanta plus the chin pratyaya. So the 6493 will only apply if you have the nijanta dhatus. And Antoine has given no example for us in the book. But if you have a nijanta dhatu, in that case, let's take a quick example just from here. Let's say dhatu sham. Let's say it become what? Shamishyate or shamishyate. Shamishyate, shamishyate. Because of the fact you have because normally what they have had, when you make sham, you have got shami. Because of the mitam rasvaha. Because sham plus nich should normally give you shami. Because of the atopadhaya 72116. But mitam rasvaha goes to shami. But then when we have the chinvad bhavaha comes in, the dirgha anyatarasya. So then will become shamishyate optionally. So shamishyate, shamishyate. So that is what the bhashyam is saying, is that dirghascha uktaha yo mitam vachiniti. So there will be a optionally dirgha form. Because if this chinvad bhava was not there, it will just do mitam rasvaha and it'll become shami, right? So I think it'll become actually the in fact here he might give an example right here. I think let's see, does he give an example right here? I think shamita, here it is. Shamita and shamita and shamita. So if you make shami, actually it should become shamayishyate or shamayishyate, because you still have to keep the niche there. So shamishyate. Actually no, let's take this one. Okay, I'm getting confused myself now. All right, let's look at this one. Let's take this example, which is not in Antoine. Let's put it in our document, but let's take dhatu sham. Okay, let's make this point number 4. Let's take point number 4, and let's take dhatu sham, and add this niche pratyaya to in the causative sense to make calm. So this is because sham is to be quiet, to be pacified, but sham plus niche will make it to make somebody quiet. So sham plus niche. Okay. Normally we should have normally had normally 72116 atobadhaya should have come in 116, and we should have get normally 766 should have given the form shami. Okay, should have heard shami as the nijanta dhatu. Okay, but this we're not going to get that, because as I said to you, any dhatu in is said to be a myth because the Gana Sutram, and then we're going to get the mitam swaha. So we're going to get, so this one we are not going to get the form shami. We are instead going to get the form, shami only, shami. Okay, so let's keep shami. So we'll make it shami because of mitam swaha. I'm sorry, let me just copy this down so you can get rid of that mitam. I hope this is not too complicated for you, but I'm saying that this mitam rasva is an important sutram. Okay, mitam rasvaha is an important sutram. So you don't want to overlook that. Mitam rasvaha. Okay. So we're going to get the form. We're going to get shami. I'm sorry. Let me just get rid of this underlying. Let me get rid of that. Okay. Shami. Because of mitam rasvaha. 6492. This is what we are right now. 6492 becomes shami. And now, if you want to make this into a future passive, which is what the context is right now, making it a future passive. So let's try shami. Shami plus skipping some steps. We have to do the pratyaya sya will come here. Pratyaya sya will come, and then will come the if you take third person singular, you're going to get the kitatpadam tere become shami sya te. Okay. Now when you don't do any chinvad bhava, anything like that, don't need chinvad bhava. Then let's see. Let's see. Karthik can help us out here. Let me try to get Karthik on the line again. Let me see if we can walk us through this one. So Karthik, you want to finish this form without chinvad bhava for us? Karthik, you there? No. Okay, let me. Hari can try. Maybe let Hari. Satya can try. Let me see. Hari can try. Hari, you there?
Yeah, Satishji.
Okay. So what will happen when there's no chinvad bhava? What will be the form?
For shami plus ya. Okay, so we have an ardha dhatuka pratyaya following, and I think it's just shamishyate.
How about idagama? First of all, you have shami. You don't have shami right now. You only have shami.
Okay. Okay. So the idagama. So I don't think it's anit. So
no, it is anekash dhatu, no, right?
Yeah, it is an anekash dhatu. Yes.
Okay. And then what will be the form? So you're going to get the idagama.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So shami
when
plus
you have the chinvad bhava, when you don't have, so you get shami ishyate. So shamayishyate. Correct?
Shamayishyate. Shamayishyate.
First get the idagama, right? Because of the you cannot, because this is anekash dhatu. So you're going to get the shami.
What about nerniti?
No. Nerniti will not. So because this is the idagama is there. So how could nerniti? Idagama is there. Only nishtha seti only could have used, right?
Nishtayam seti also will not.
This is not nishtha pratyaya.
Yeah. So both of them won't apply. So it will become So it will become shamayishyate.
Shamayisha. This is the chinvad bhava is not there. You get shamayishyate. Okay. Let's okay. Now so let's good. Shamayishyate. Like yeah. We did in the class before today, right? When we had the bhakshayishyasi, whenever we did it in the homework here before. Bhakshay, same thing here. If you want the form, if you get the bhakshayishyasi. Only thing different here was that because we got the atmanepadi, shamayishyate. And because of the mitamah swaha, it did not become sham, it became shami. Okay. When we have chinvad bhava though, what's going to happen now? So let's tell you the same steps. Let us take the shami. Okay. Add to that the sya. But this sya chinvad bhava now. Okay. So te. Okay. Now, because don't forget one more thing. When we have chinvad bhava, then the idagama is nityam. The idagama is nityam. You don't have to think about anything. So it is going to come. It is going to come over here. There's no doubt about that. Okay. Now this thing is that the e, it cannot drop, really, technically speaking, because that e only drops by 6451 near niti. Atva nishtayam seti. Now in this case we have idagama. It is not a nishtha pratyaya. So technically that id could not have dropped. I mean the nich, sorry. I take it back. The nich could not have dropped because we do not have, the pratyaya is ardha dhatuka, but it is not aniti. It has idagama to it now. So the nich cannot drop normally. But then can you think of something, Hari, which we are overlooking over here by any chance? Anybody in the class? Anybody in the class? Special prize for today is that, what I'm saying is that the 6451-52 says niraniti nishtayam seti. Only these two situations the nich drops. So if either pratyaya is anirada vardhadhatukavre nirlopasyat and nishtayam seti. So we have pratyaya sya. So 6452 is out because that's not nishtha pratyaya. But 6451 also is odd because idagama is nityam. Because the 6462 says itcha. When chinvad bhava comes, the it comes with it necessarily. So you cannot use the 6451 anymore. But I will overlooking anything, Hari? Anybody in the class? Okay, Anuji has a guess for us. Yes, Anuji.
The guess will 7333 come in? The yuk?
That's only if you have adant angam. Angam ending in long.
Oh, yeah. So that won't apply. Okay.
Any other guess? Let's see. Any other guess? Satya there? Maybe we can try to guess. No.
Yeah,
Satya there?
I'm here, but I don't know.
You know it. You know the answer also.
Oh.
I know that you. Bhavan janati am janami. What could it be? Is that, okay, let's go to this one. I think now you'll know the answer now. When you see what Patanjali has to say, what he says next is that, okay, this one will give you the answer now. Itcha asiddham, tena me lupyate nihi, is what Patanjali says. Is itcha asiddham, asiddha I should say. Tena me matau, in my opinion, this is what Patanjali is saying. Lupyate nihi. So the it is asiddham, therefore the niche will drop. By 6451, obviously, near-unity. So what could be Satya now? Can you tell me now? How is this Patanjali saying that it is asiddha? Okay, because of 6420. Yeah, I think you got it now, right? 6420.
Asiddhavat atra bhat.
Correct. Asiddhavat atra bhat. Asiddhavat atra bhat. So just like in the Tripadi Karam, 6422, these are both in 6-4. This near-unity is in 6-451, and the idagama is 6-462. They are both in 6.4, the section which is called Abhiya Karyam. Abhiya Karyam means just like in the Tripadi, we have the Asiddham business. Same thing is also a section here from 6-422 to the end of 6-4, where these two sutras cannot mutually see each other. See in 8 dot in the Tripadi section, only the earlier rule cannot see later rule. It is a one-way asiddham in Tripadi. When earlier rule cannot see a later rule's work done. So 8.2.2 cannot see what is done by 8.2.3 and so on. But here they mutually asiddham. So when one in the same context, in the same context of course. So in the same context, if one rule does something, the other rule does not see what is done by that rule. In this section, both are to be in this section, from 6.422 to end of 6.4. If there are two rules acting in the same context, then, for example, give you a quick example. Okay, is the in Gita example for this sutra to apply. Hanter jaha, jay shatrum mahabaho, kamarupam durasatam, right? So Hante Jaha, yes, Satya has a question. Satya, yes.
So here I was just wondering, we started with Sham Dhatu.
Yeah, we made it Sham.
We added niche.
Yeah, let me just put the page up. Yeah, niche we added, yeah. Correct. that is 3126, whatever, Shami.
So we added niche because of what?
Hetu Maticha. 3126, causative form.
Okay.
And then we got Sanadhyanta Dhatavaha. We got a derived dhatu Shami.
Okay.
And of course we did the Mitam Rasva, we made Rasva also.
Okay.
First we did Atopadhaya, Mitam Rasva. We got Shami. To Shami we are going to add the Rit.
Right.
In Bhava Karmano, in Bhava or Karma.
Okay.
Then we brought in the Pratyaya Ta, and of course we made the Titapam Padanam Tere, make it Te. Shatasi Lutoho, the Seer came in. When the Seer came in, we had two things here. We can, first of all, this Shami is going to qualify for 6462 because the H is a Ach is there as an Upadeshe. So therefore, this Shami is going to qualify for 6462 because it says Aj Hana Graha Drisham. So this E is an Ach which is an Upadeshe. So the Shami qualifies 6. Then we're going to get, we're going to get Chinvad Bhava, Chinvad Abhava Pakshe. Chinvad Bhava was not there. We did the simple form as usual. Shamayishyate, we got that.
Right.
Chinvad Bhava comes, the it comes necessarily with it. And this it is not the it of 7.2. This is the it which is given by the 6462.
Okay, okay.
So
I
now
was
we
trying to
have,
say where the 8, yeah, okay.
yeah, because the sutram says itcha, 6462 says itcha.
Okay.
So therefore they both are abhiya karye. So the Niraniti 6451 and the idagama by 6462 are both in the abhiya section. And so even though the 6461 looks like should not apply, it is going to apply. It will not see the it of 6462. Let me put it like that. So let me put a comment here, is that 6451 does not see the idagamaha, the id of 6462 because of the 6422. Asiddhavatatra abhat. And hence it still applies. So 6451 applies and removes the niche.
But then we cannot apply Pugantas.
Then we got sham plus isya is what we got. Where the Puganta is coming?
Oh yeah, sure, it's akaran.
So akaran is so. So then what we got that. So this is what. So niche has dropped now. Okay. So I hope everything in the class is kind of following me a little bit at least. Is that the 6422 say there are two sutras in this section of 6422 end of 64, and they are operating in the same situation. Then they cannot mutually see each other. So when the 6462 brings in the idagamaha, that is not seen by 6451. It applies anyway, niraniti. It only, because 6451 can only apply when the pratyaya is sarvadhatuka pratyaya, I'm sorry, pratyaya is ardhadhatuka, and it doesn't have any idagamaha, niraniti. So anidada ardhadhatuke pare nir lopasyat. So that becomes, it still removes the niche, becomes sham isya te, samishyate. And then comes this 6493. 6493. So what we have now is we have, I'm sorry, we have sham plus e sya te. And now will come 6493. Now comes 6493. What does 6493 say? The reason I brought you through all these steps was because I was trying to explain this one which Patanjali is saying about this dirghascha ukto yo mitam vachiniti. So now we have a niche followed by the chin. Chinvat, you don't have chin exactly, but chinvat bhava pratyaya we have. Even though niche has come and gone, it still has, just taken lopaha. But it's pratyaya lakshanam, it still has the pratyaya lakshanam is still there. And the Itcha asiddha tena me lupyate nihi. So now what has happened is that the 6493 now tells us that the chiddamuloho dirgho anyatarasyam. So now you're going to get the anyatarasyam dirgha. So if you have niche followed by chin, then you get dirgho anyatarasyam. So you're going to get the you're going to get sham, or you're going to get sham. Sham or sham. It's also an interesting situation. Actually, even here, what's happening is that the niraniti is 6451. This is 6493. So this may not even care that niche has gone away. Even this is also in the same section. This is actually one of the very important sections of Ashtadhyayi. This abhiya karyam has a lot of very important sutras. So you always have to watch out in this section what you're doing, because all of a sudden this thing will come of being mutually asiddham and trip us off, because it's a big pada. It goes like 100. It starts from 6422, goes all the way up to 175. So there are 150 plus sutras here, and they all are mutually don't see each other in the same context. So anyway, so by 6493, you will get pakshe dirgha pakshe, it will stay hrasvaha. So by 6493, you'll get two forms, which is going to be now shamishyate or shamishyate, to give shamishyate, shamishyate. I'll go through this, just summarize one time. Again, don't worry about this because as a practical matter, you probably not see it much in the language and it's not in the book. So let's not spend too much time on this, but interesting, a lot of interesting concepts coming on that. And the reason I went through all these steps was because Patanjali has given a very nice thing in the Mahabhashyam for us to look at, Shamishyate. So one more time, we had the dhatu sham. We added a niche to make it in the causative form. And because of mitam rasvaha, we it kind of undid the work of the atopadhaya. So means shami became shami. Now, this one qualifies for 6462 because that ending E is upadesha E. Because nich comes from 3126, that's in upadesha. So this one qualifies for 6462. And so we'll have a chinvad bhava in one case, no chinvad bhava in other case. And so when you don't do chinvad bhava, then clearly we just go the usual way, make it shamishyate. When you get chinvad bhava, the in is nityam. So in comes nityam with chinvad bhava. So get shami isyate. But that niche is that, sorry, that idagamaha is not seen by the 6451, so they're both in the abhiya section of 6422. So notwithstanding the idagamaha, still 6451 does the niche lopaha by neraniti, and we get the sham isyate, shamishyate. And then finally 6493 says that if we have the niche followed by chin, and in this case we have the sya which is chinvad bhavaha, then the dirgha is optional, becomes shamishyate, shamishyate. We get two forms, three forms finally. Shamayishyate, no chinvad bhavaha, shamishyate, shamishyate, of 6493. And none of this is in the book. So if you want to practice some interesting vyakaranam, you can do this. Otherwise, don't worry about it too much. It's not. So just put here chinvad bhava pakshe. So the remaining is here only in chinvad bhava pakshe. Okay, let's finish what Patanjali is saying, then we'll go to the book now and see what Antoine has to say. So chinvad bhava pakshe. Okay, all right. Now let's, I think he only says one more thing he says is that, final comment which Patanjali makes is that, he says, nityascha ayam val nimitto vighati. Okay, this idagamaha, which comes from 6462, which comes whenever chinvad bhava comes, idagama comes necessarily. That is a nityam. What Patanjali is saying is that nityascha ayam id agamaha. It doesn't depend on anything. It doesn't depend on valadi. It doesn't say dhatu is set, anit, or whatever it might be. So regardless of whether you get the, because if you think you sing, then what about the id of 7 to 35 then? Will that also come? Will this also come? Or will they clash with each other? What will happen there? Because 7 to 35 still says that ardha dhatuka sya id valade hai. Now, when you have the pratyaya sya, even though it's chinvad bhavaha, still it is ardha dhatuka pratyaya. It is valadi. So now, should we take the idagama from 7 to 35? The idagama from 6462. Now, remember when you have this kind of a conflict here, what do we look at? With nitya, nitya. So with the chinvan bhava comes, the id comes nityam. Doesn't care anything about valadi, doesn't care anything about, set dhatu and dhatu, doesn't matter. So nityascha ayam. So even if you do idagama by the valadi pratyaya, by 7 to 35, this id will still come there. So in short, the idagama of 6462 can still come even after idagama of 7 to 35, but not vice versa. Because if you do idagama of 6462, then the pratyaya is no longer valadi. Then 7 to 35 cannot apply. So because the 6462 it is nityam, the 7 to 35 depends on the valadi pratyaya being there. Therefore, when you have chinvad bhava, you'll only have the 8 of 6462. The 7 to 35 8 will not come. Okay, because 6462 nityam it, and when that comes, valadiness is lost, and then for After that, 7 to 35 has no chance. So therefore, you'll get the 8 of 6, 4, 62 will win the tie. It will bump out 7 to 35. So nitya karyam. So that's the 5. Maybe I can put point number 5 over here. Okay, this was point number 4. Let me change that. So point number 5 is that, and let's wrap up this sutram. But point number 5 is that the id of course in the Chinvad Bhava Pakshe does not depend, is nityam, does not depend on, okay, let's leave it like that. But the idagamaha of 7 to 35 is not. So is not because of the fact that because once the idagama comes by 6, 4, 32, the pratyaya is no longer valadi. Because once the id comes by 6, 4, 62, the pratyaya is no longer valadi. It comes by 6, 4, 62. Then the pratyaya is no longer valadi. And therefore that it depends on. So this 7 to 35 depends on whether 6, 4, 62 is applied first or not vice versa, because that id of 6, 4, 62 didn't ask whether it's valadi or this or that. One Chinvad Bhava is there, then it has to be there with 6, 4, 62. So that's what Patanjali is saying. That what he's saying is that the statement that he's making is that the nityascha ayam valadi nimitto vighati is that a valadi nimitto vighati. So it bumps out the idagamaha of 7 to 35 because that is a valadi nimitta id. This one is not. This is a very nice karika. If you can, of course, see this kashika has the it has some very nice karikas inside. Some of them are difficult to understand. Like this one, they're very pithy, you know. So see how many points he made in one karika. You know? This one shloka is really it's one verse. So Chinvad, one more time. Chinvad Vriddhi. First thing he said is that the achoniti atupadhayaha. Yukcha. So the atayukchin kritoho. Hanteshcha ghatvam means that the dhatu han becomes ghakara when the chin pratyaya falls. Because of this 7,354. Dirghascha ukto yo mitam va chiniti. So when the nich plus chin is there is a dirgha vikalpena. They're also like shamishyate shamishyate. Itcha asiddha tename lupyate nihi. Because this id is asiddham because of the asiddhavatra bhat. Because of that, the idagama of 6,462 is not seen by 6,451. And finally he says, Nityaschayam val nimitto vighati. Is that because this idagama is nityam, it will not give a chance, and the 7 to 35 depends on valadiness, so that it will be lost. When you do idagama over here, it will come. Okay, one last point, which is not in this card. What I want to make it is that it's kind of contained in here anyway. Is in fact, it might even be here in the Kashika. Let me see if it is there. Okay, here it is. Now, when the dhatu grah is used, it becomes grahishyate, or this is a typo here, is it? Or grahishyate and grahishyate. Okay, grahishyate and grahishyate. Okay. Now, the question that I'm asking is that because we had a sutram, it says graholiti dirgha, is the idagamaha becomes dirgha for the dhatu grah. When the dhatu grah precedes, the idagama becomes dirgha, but not when the lit pratyaya is involved. We don't have lit right now. So does that mean when Chinvad Bhavaha comes, can we still apply that graholiti dirgha or not? This one, this 7 to 37 says graholiti dirgha, right? So in Gita chapter 16, mohad grihitva asad grahan grihitva. So now, when the Chinvad Bhava is not become grahishyate, Chinvad Bhava abhava pakshe. So when we don't have Chinvad Bhava, when we have Chinvad Bhava, It will of course become grah, atopadhaya. It will become grahishyate or become grahishyate. Can we still use 7 to 37 in the context of the idagama of 6462? And the Kashika says no. Kashika says no. What he's saying is that graho liti dirghaha iti prakritasya itaha dirghatvam. Because that dirgha of the idagama is only of the idagama of 7 to 35. Because graho liti dirgha is coming right below the adhatugasya valade. So this can only do dirgha of the idagama of 7 to 35. So it will not help us in 6462 to not apply. That's the final complication of the sutram, is that in the case of grah, when you get chinvad bhavaha and the idagama is 6462, that will not take a dirgha, because that dirgha of 7 to 37 is only for the idagama of 7 to 35 and not 6462. Okay, I think that's more than enough on this sutram. Let's see what Antoine has to say. Okay, what does he say now? I think we can pretty much go through this quickly now. The roots ending in a vowel. What is that? Because of obviously, because the sutram clearly says upadesha aj. So sya sich siyut tasishu bhavakarmano upadesha aj hana grahadrisham. So the roots ending in a aj. And also I mentioned to you is also applied nijanta, which Antoine has not mentioned, but it is also applicable because the way they explain this is that you look at this what it says is that with the upadesh ajantana. So it has to be in the achin upadesha. It doesn't have to be ajanta dhatu in upadesha. Okay, we went through that already. So but anyway, Anton is all he's saying is that it should be dhatu in the vowel and hana graha drisha, which is sutram itself. An optional form, with a typo in English here, should be form in the future passive, because the sutra says sya and tas are in that list of 4. The final vowel takes vruddhi because of the achonyati. Not only that, even the medial takes vruddhi. So 72115, 72116 achonyati atopadhaya. Why? Chinvad bhava, the chin clearly has no as an it. We already went through that. And then the final art is changed to I. Ato yuk chin kritoho, 7333. Ato yuk chin kritoho. We already talked about that. And then the han, grah, drish are changed to ghan. Okay? Because of what? How does it become ghan? Atopadhayaha. And then, of course, the 7354, ho hante ninyeshu. So we already talked about that. Grah becomes grah. Atopadhayaha. When chinvad bhava comes, atopadhayaha. And drish becomes darsh. Because here only you will only get the puganta lagupatasya cha. So why do we not apply the, anybody in the class, why do we not apply the agamaha? Sujidrisho jhalyamakiti. Why don't we do that? It's an easy question. Hari, can you do that for us? Sujidrisho jhalyamakiti. Anybody? Why did this drish not take the agama by 6158 when you got chinvad bhava? It's an easy question. Satya, want to do that? Satya, you there? Maybe Karthik is there. Anu has the answer. Anuji has the answer. Yes, sir.
I don't know, but as for that vritti, you should have Tushi Akiti, right?
It should be Akiti is fine. We don't have but it should be Jali,
Yeah.
Jaladi Pratyaya.
Jali Akiti. Yeah.
So when the chinvad bhava comes, id agama comes nityam. So when chinvad and id come together, so it will not be Jaladi anymore. There will be no question of doing 6158. When chinvad bhava comes, you get the idagama nityam with that. So we'll never have a jaladi pratyaya and chinvad bhava together. So therefore we'll not have 6158. That's why the only thing you get is the puganta lagu upatasya cha gunaha, become darsha. Okay. And then the final thing which Antoine says is that the E is then inserted, and the atmanipada terminations are added. Of course, that we know already, atmanipada termination, and the E is inserted because the last thing in the sutram is itcha. Itcha, we already went through that. Itcha. So chinvad itcha. It goes together. Chinvad itcha. In fact, Kashika says, Yada chinvad bhavati, tada idagama bhavati. So when chinvad bhava comes, the idagama comes necessarily. Well, let's look at the example with which Antoine has given. Okay. Now, shru becomes shrota he. But the word sutra means shrota he. Anybody in the class, shrota he? Who can do it for us? This Indu has been quiet today. Let me get Indu on the line. Maybe shrota he. Indu will try shrota he for us. Let's see. Who else has been quiet in the class today? Maybe Kartik can do this. I mean, shrota he. Let's see. Kartik will try shrota he for us.
Yeah, I can try, but I'm not sure actually.
You can do it. You can do it. Okay. So let's see. We can. All right. So list one. I think we finished our list over here. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just add point number 6 here, which is in the case of grah. I'm sorry. Give some time to think, Kartik, when I'm doing this. So in the case of grah, 7 to 38 does not apply. In the case of chinvad bhava. Chinvad bhava. Because 7 to 38 is only 7 to 38 only applies to the id agamaha of 7 to 35. All right. Okay. So now first of all it's only dhatu because dhatu shuru and there's uduzantai is nothing to make it a said dhatu. Okay. Then what's the next step? So we have dhatu sha ra u. Shuru. And I'm sorry, shuru, and then we're going to make it the pratyaya. Of course, lut lakaraha, chitasi luluto ho. We got tas, and then he's talking about the first person singular here. So ta. So pratyaya is id vahi mahi. So pratyaya is e. Okay. Now what do you do next step? Next step we can do is, first of all, when you have any lakara which has stirs in it, the first thing you want to do is the chitatmane padanam tere.
Tere.
So we have to apply the, I think, 3479. So 3479, I think that's the right number, to make it into A. So A. What's the next step? So we got shro ta se so far. Now did you remember the sutram, Kartik?
No, I don't remember.
Ha eti. Is the for the dhatu us and for the asasyor, when the a follows the sakara of tas and us becomes ha eti. It's not a very common sutram. No example in Gita of that. So if we do 3479 chitta apipadanam tere, I think it's 7451 52 is ha eti. So ha eti will tell us that if you have the sakara of tas or us followed by the a eti, in that case that sakara becomes into a hakara, ha eti. So that number is 7452. So that's going to be easy. Now let's see if you can help us with the others. So shrota he. So we did the chitta padanam tere followed by ha eti, and we got the form shrota he. Okay, next one, Kartik. Can you do that one for us? Shravita he. How did that happen? Oh, Usha has a question. One second. Sorry, I may have a typo somewhere. Usha, in the document, because of 7 to 37, okay, is there a typo in the document? Hold on. Because of, let me read Usha. 1 second, Kartik, let me just see what Usha is. Yes, Usha ji, what's the question?
No, Satiji. I just wanted to say because 7 to 37 and not 7 to 38.
The graha liti dirgha, right? That one?
7 to 37?
That's 7 to 38, like graha liti dirgha.
So it is 7 to 37.
Oh, I'm sorry, I put the wrong number maybe. 7 to 37. Yes, I'm sorry. They're both typos. Yes, thank you. They're both typos in document. Yeah. Yes, 7 to 37. Roti dirgha. I don't know why I seen this. 38 is Vrutova. Thank you. Those are both typos. So this 7 to 38, 7 to 37 does not apply. Thank you. Because 7 to 37 only applies. Yeah. Okay, Karthik. Thank you for the typo. Let's continue with so now the next one, Shravita hai. Can you do that for us? Shravita hai?
It's is it the Chinvat Bhavaha with the Vriddhi and the Vriddhi and the
So and the idagamaha and everything is same. The only thing extra happening there in Shravita hai is that we are getting the Chinvat Bhavaha. So Chinvat Bhava Pakshe. So when we do the Chinvat Bhavaha, we get the so Chinvad Bhava Pakshe. Pakshe. We get Shru becomes Shrau because of the Achoniti. So we'll get Shrau plus the Idagama comes Nityam, Itat, and then you're going to get the same, E is going to be the same rules as before. So it becomes Shravita. So this Shrau is going to become because of
yeah,
72115 Achoniti. Then you do Echoyavayavaha and then you do so Shravita he. Sorry, Shravita he. Shravita he. Okay, so here we use Echoyavayavaha and of course the same rules as before. Chitapmane Padanam Tere and the Ha eti. Okay. So we got Shravita he. What's the next one? He does Shroshye. How about that one? Okay, what's the hold on. That's a straightforward form of Shroshye. Okay. Yes, Vasu?
Satishji, it is Shrota he and the typo is Shrota he.
Shrota he typo, thank you. Let me see what the typo is. Yes. Shrota. Thank you again. Typing too fast. Shrota he. Shrota hai. Okay, so that is Shrota hai. Thank you. Now, Karthik, Shroshye, what is happening there?
We have again the Tita Atmane Padanam Tere and we have here the Setasil Rulutoho. And, yes, correct. And we'll have Guna by Sarvadhatu Ardhadhatukayoho and then Adesha Pratyaya.
We have the same thing back here, of course. We have the guna here also, Shrota hai, so put that number there also. So the 7384, Sarvadhatukarthaka yoho, that's going to come here also, of course. I forgot to put that one there. That one is, of course, the guna is coming. Okay, so now we got, so skipping some steps now, we get the guna with Sarvadhatukarthaka yoho gunaha. So we get Shro, and then comes
Adesha Pratyaya.
But one thing you missed, Karthik. I think, did we get everything? Give me the steps again.
We have Setasil Rulutoho.
Yeah, so Shro, Sya. What's the Pratyaya now? Pratyaya is E, right?
E, so it becomes A by Titatmane Padanam
Tere, and then what happens?
Oh, and A. So this will be Atogune.
Atogune. Don't forget Atogune. So that becomes Shroshye, Atogune. The temptation is to do the Ad Guna between O and E. That's wrong because you need the Tere and then Atogune. So that's the common mistake, is to do the Guna between O and E, and that is clearly not correct. So Shroshye will be the form. Shroshye. Okay, let's put some sutras down here. So of course we did the Sarvadhatukarthaka Gunaha. Then this is not a state dhatu, so we got, and then the usual Tere, and then we got the Atogune. So Shroshye, 6197, between the because Padanta Akara is there, A is a letter which is Gunasanya, so Pura Paryo Ekadesha Pararupam. Next form, Shravishye, same thing, right? It's a Chinvad Bhavaha. Chinvad bhavaha, when we do the similar steps as we had before, you're going to get the achoniti vriddhi becomes shrau. Is idagama is necessarily comes with chinvad bhavaha. So shrau isya becomes shravishya, and then shravishya, the same steps. So the similar step which you have in shravitahe, the same thing idagamaha and the chinvad bhavaha, you're going to get the achoniti. Echoyavayavaha. So shravishya is similar to this form. Next one, Kartik, netahe. Anything special there?
Netahe, no, nothing. I think it's the same.
Special, the same. It's also anit dhatu. Just like shrotahe, we have netahe. Same thing. The only thing there is a sarvadhatuka ardhatuka yoho gunaha, and then ha eti. Chitame padanam tere. The netahe. No, nayitahe. You want to try that? What happens? The same thing, right?
Same thing. It's again the vriddhi.
Chinvad bhavaha, achuniti vriddhi, echoyavayavaha. Vidagama nityam vichinvad bhavaha. So nayitahe. And neshye, nayishye. Nothing. No. Same thing. Instead of u, we had e. That's all. That's not the same step. Okay, now han. Try that. Hantahe. Hantahe. Anything special there? Hantahe.
No, hantahe I think is normal.
No, same rules. So why we did not get the rule 6437? Which says that what? Anudatopadesha, Vanati, Tanotyadina, Manunasika Jalikiniti. Let's look at that for 1 second, Why doesn't it apply here, Kartik? Put the sutram up for you. 6/4, because Han becomes Hataha, right?
Yeah.
Why did it not become over here? Why did the Nakar of Han not drop? Anudatopadesha, put the Han. Vanati Tanotyadina, Manunasika Lopa, but Kiniti.
It is not kiniti.
It's not kiniti. Because the pratyaya tas doesn't have ka and it is not kiniti. So hantahe, nothing special. Of course, even here we should do the naschavandasya jali anuswaraha, anuswasaji parasavaran. Always be in that habit of doing those two things, even though it comes back to na only, but still. Okay, now ghanitahe. What happens there, Kartik? Ghanitahe.
It's the, by chinvad bhavaha, the ha gets the ghakara.
Because of 7354. 7354 ghanitahe, because ho hante ninyeshu. And of course, atopadhayaha. And then idagama nityam and haeti. So we just put the sutrams down here. The only thing we already mentioned early in the class today, that the 7354 can be because of chinvad bhavaha. So we'll get in ghanitahe. So we have 7354, because the chin has no as an it. That was trigger 7354. Then of course we get the atopadhaya vriddhi. And then, the usual, the same as before, the 7 for the Chitame Padanam Tere, Atmani Padanam Tere, and then the Haeti, 7452. Alright, so there's nothing really special. Okay, let's look at the next form here. What is this Hanishye? Hanishye Chaparan. Very interesting thing in Gita. Hanishye Chaparanapi. Hanishye in Gita's active form. In chapter 16, Asomaya hata shatru hanishye chaparanapi. So this enemy has been killed by me. I will kill others also. Those who have the asui pravritti, they think like that, But look at that context, by the way. Is asomaya hata shatruho. This enemy has been killed by me. Hanishye chaparanapi. Now you don't know hanishye is active or passive, but look at the chaparanapi. Aparanapi hanishye. If this were a passive form, then that aparan could not be justified, because then the karta should go in tritiya vibhakti then. So if hanishya had been okay, let me pull the shloka quickly. If hanishya in Gita had been a passive form, in hanishya chaparanapi, then you cannot justify the dvitiya on the aparan. This is what I'm telling you. If you cannot tell if this prayoga is active or passive, look at the context. Look at the other pieces of the puzzle. Do they fit in or they don't fit in? And in Gita will not fit in. First of all, this looks like a bit of an arsha prayoga in Gita, because this is what I was warning you before. Is just because the dhatu han is parasmapadi in dhatu patha does not mean that everywhere in literature that will be honored. Now, even in hanishya in Gita, this is technically you might think it's a passive form. The dhatu han is really a parasmapadi, becomes hanti is a parasmapadi dhatu. But so this you can Vyakaran wise, if you just depend on that, then this, you see the Atmanepadi ending, this must be a passive form, but it is not. It's active form. Because the final conclusion is that if you take this as a passive, then what do you do with this then? Aparan. Aparan shatrunapi hanishye. I will kill other enemies also. So there's no way that this will fit in. You know, if you say hanishye is a passive form, there should be a karta, should be in the in tritiya, and the karma will go in pratama. So anyway, this is a good example of Undo dhatu han in dhatu partha is the parasapadi dhatu, and hanishye, if you look grammar wise, should be a passive form. It is not passive because this is Asha Prayoga in the after the ending has been used for the meter, but the Dvitiya here for the karma, that is the decisive point here. If the karma Dvitiya will not be there if this were a passive form. Okay, so but otherwise back to Antoine now. Hanishye, Kartik, straightforward form.
It will have Ruddhanosye.
Very good. Ruddhanosye. Han is the anid dhatu. Han is anid dhatu. As Kartik clearly mentioned, there is a special rule for dhatu han and dhatus ending in short r. We take the ida agama, which we went through many times in the class, but I'm glad to remember that sutram. Ruddhanosye. And this 7 to 70, in ida agama have in the sya pratyaya follow. Even though dhatu han is anid dhatu, special rule for the pratyaya sya. So the 7 to 10 would say no idagama, but 7 to 70 say there's ida. Of course, when Chinvad Bhava comes, then you don't have to do any of these because Chinvad Bhava. Okay, so Hanishya, I just put down 7. That's a special rule. 7. Everything else is as usual, you know. You get the Yoho Murdhini Shaka Desha, but 7 to 70 is the one Ruddhano Sye. Okay. Then what's the next one, Kartik? Is the Ghanishye, same thing, right? So
yes, Chinmad Bhava.
So this idagama of Ghanishye is this one is Nityam. Other one depends on Valadi Pratyaya being there. So this in Ghanishye idagama is by 6462, not by 7 to 70. So here I'll put that in document. I mean, it doesn't make a difference, but still, technically speaking, the Ghanishye, the 6462 brings it. All right. Then the last couple of lines, I think the same thing there. Then we can stop with that. Grahita hai. So Kartik, what's happening here?
Dirgha, we just now discussed the rule, I think, but I forgot the rule.
Graholiti dirgha. 7 to 37, which Usha ji correct number for us. Graholiti. So dhatu grah, pratyaya not lit pratyaya now anyway, and it's valadi, idagama is a said dhatu, that will become the dirgha. So grahita hai by 7 to 37, graholiti dirgha.
Yeah.
Then the same thing as before, you know, the hoeti and all that stuff. So grahita hai. Now grahita hai.
Here it won't happen because the idagama does not come by the, it comes because of the Chinmad Bhava.
Come by Chinmad Bhava. So this is the special thing here. Is this grahita hai will not take the graholiti dirgha because prakritasya eva dirgha syat. Only the prakrita it means which is the, you know, which is come by that context only, it will take the dirgha there. And of course atopadhaya has happened here. So grahita. It's the only special thing in the grahita hai. Now grahishye, nothing special. The again graholiti dirgha and the usual suit, you know, tere and the atogune, usual things. And same thing with grahishye. Again, does not apply 7 to 37 because this is the id of 6462. This means the next line then we stop. Drashta hai. Kartik, what's happening here?
I don't know the rule here. The Murdhanya Adesha.
No. That also you know. But before that, how about the Ammagama? Do you know that one? That is Drish. You got the Ammagama. Ammagama. How it become Drash?
Yeah.
6158. Sruji Drisho Jhalyamakiti. Sruji Drisho Jhalyamakiti. So Pratyaya Tas is Jhaladi Pratyaya because the Dhatu Drish is Anit Dhatu. In the Talavya Shanteshu, the Dhatu Drish is listed there. It is Jaladi pratyaya is not a kit pratyaya, so dhatu drish is there. You're going to get the ammagamaha and then iko enachi. Of course, midachontyat paraha, and then after that you're going to get the iko enachi. That becomes drash. Then vrashcha iti shaha. Vrashcha, and brajascha sham. 8 to 36. So in talavya sakaranta dhatu jali padante murdhanya shakaraha, and then chuna. Okay, I won't, because I know I went fast, but we have done this in the class many times now, so I hope that I didn't go too fast. But in the drashtahe form, drashtahe, I just give the sutras drashtahe. So the main thing that we used here was the sujidushoho jhalyamakiti, then vidachontyat paraha, and so also, and the iko enachi, and then after we finish the sapasapta adhyaya karyam, then 6, 8 to 36 got the murdhanya shakaraha, then stosh chunashtuhu. And then before we could have done the usual rules back here, the her eti and the Kitapam tere, that those are coming, of course, that's same as before. So her eti 7, 4, 5, 2. Okay. The only thing special here was the ammagamaha and the drashcheti murdhanya shakaradesha. Then the next thing, darshita hai. Why you don't have any ammagama here, Karthik? Why no ammagama over here? It's not jaladi anymore.
Jaladi. Okay, because of the idagama.
But chinvat bhava means idagama nityam.
Idagama.
And then no jaladiness is lost. So only the puganda lagu padasya uran raparaha darshita hai. So when you get the chinvat bhava, idagama comes means there is no amagama. So jaladi tvam nasti. So darshita hai. So drakshe. Drakshe is same as what's the other remaining sutram here, Karthik? Amagama we got drash, and we got siya and a. Then by 8 to 36 we got the murdhanya shakara. What else we need? Shadokasi. Is that murdhanya shakara has to become to kakaraha. So to become and then finally, adishpatyaho shaktam. And the darshishye also same thing.
Same as darshita.
Bhavaha, so no ammagamaha, idagama nityam, and just the pugandalagu putasya cha, and urandraparaha. So, okay, we'll stop here now. Next time we'll look at these, I think I already gave sutras for next time. The sutram here is only 3.3.14, look at that. And of course the Mukagama 7 to 82. So the next page, if I can give you 1 or 2 sutrams, there are some mistakes on the next page, okay, so watch out. Okay, we'll go through these. You can do this for homework, by the way. The same kind of rule which we did just now. Same thing, but with the present participle is added that's all. Otherwise, this nyasyanti, all that same thing, The yuk agama is over here, which is 7.3.33. We already in the class today. 7.2.33 we talked. 7.3.33 yuk agama. And this has some mistakes here. Okay, so be careful. Study 7.180 for me. For that as homework for you. Look at 7.180. This is one of the favorite exam questions. 7.180. So look at that one. Okay, this is a mistake in the book. In fact, you can find out the mistakes yourself. What mistakes are here? Okay. And then for the lung lakara, look at 3.3, 139, 140. Get the meaning. And that's it, I think that's enough for homework. But the Karthik, I'm going to talk to you after the class about that something. Okay, so let me just, we finish off. Let me put this drakshe in the document and just put the 8.241 shadow kasi is a special rule which we require here. So when we have drakshe 8.241 shadow kasi changes the Murdhanya Shakaraha, which came by of 8 to 36 to Kakaraha. Okay, Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Vaje Ramena Abhiyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhautame Bho Ramama Muddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranamatulyam Ramanama Varanane Shri Ramanama Varanana Onnama Iti.